If there's one problem with retro handhelds, it's that most of them look the same. That's why the ZPG A1 Unicorn is currently taking the scene by storm. You see, it's not your standard Anbernic or Retroid design. Instead of blocky bricks, the ZPG A1 Unicorn takes a more rounded approach at the edges. Not just that, but it's a console that isn't afraid to use colour to make the device stand out. Ask yourself this, when was the last time you've seen a retro handheld this colourful? What's especially unique about this device is it uses a square 720 by 720 screen. That translates to a 1.1 ratio rather than the standard 4.3 or 16.9. Is that a good idea? We'll get to that in a bit. RetroCN is a site that acts as a bridge between Chinese and Western markets, and they were the first to showcase the latest Unicorn tease. Not much else was revealed, although I did do some digging and found the screen size I previously mentioned, the fact the Unicorn will use Hall effect sticks and triggers, and it will be up for order at the end of December. In terms of size, I've been told it'll be roughly the same size as the Snow Cake LG Wing Round 6. That, for those of you who don't know, is an Android DIY retro handheld. So it should be truly pocket-sized rather than marketed as pocket-sized but actually needs a carry case and a backpack. As for the emulation side of things, RetroCN says the device should play up to PS2. We do get a very brief look at the PS2 games in action, but it's way too early to tell how well that claim holds up. Without knowing what's powering the device, there's no way to say anything with certainty. Also frustratingly, RetroCN did release an image in Chinese that I've translated that says processor Qualcomm ? MediaTek ? Ziyang ? Yeah, thanks for that. Very clear. Lastly, the Unicorn will make use of a 4500 mAh battery, which should translate to roughly 6 or 7 hours of usage. One of the things that stands out to me is the size of the ZPG A1 Unicorn is roughly the same size as the Snowflake LG Wing Round 6. God, that's a mouthful. In fact, the Unicorn looks to be very closely inspired by the Snow Cake, and there's a lot we can take from that. Given both systems utilise a 1.1 screen, does that mean the Unicorn will also shrink down the emulated screen size and add borders like on the Snow Cake? If that is the case, then what's the point of a 1.1 inch screen? Most 8 and 16-bit consoles use a 4.3 ratio. Think NES, SNES, Genesis, etc. PS2 and GameCube, meanwhile, use a 4.3 and 16.9 ratio. Game Boy Advance makes use of a 3.2, and even the original Game Boy uses the rather odd 10.9. The point I'm getting at here is the Unicorn isn't going to be able to have many systems that will make use of that 1.1 aspect ratio without massively stretching the image or chopping parts off. That said, I'm wildly into this idea. The design looks lush, the colouring of the device really steps things up, and if the price is right, it could be worth keeping an eye on. Even if the 1.1 ratio seems like a bizarre decision, I'm absolutely dying to pick one up so I can check it out myself. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. Until next time, see ya!